You were over in the UK covering Camilla's first public appearance, the first public appearance that they were together back in 1998. What was that like?
That's right. I was outside the Ritz Hotel and that evening. This was all masterminded by the palace that they were going to introduce. Camilla is officially, of course, they had been together behind the scenes for years. Officially, they were going to be announced. She was so nervous. You could just see her.
Imagine.
So it was an event at the Ritz. It was a party for her sister's birthday. They went in separately, and then we were all standing outside. You've never seen photographers like it. Look at the flashes going off there. But what was really interesting at that time was that there was no suggestion. The big question was, will she be accepted? No one could ever imagine that she would be queen, and that the late queen would so heartily endorse her as the forthcoming monarch. So to see that happen over that time period shows the work that she did behind the scenes. She just quietly got on with it. She was one of the most maligned women in Britain during the time that I was living there in the 90s too. So to see her come into her own and be such a support to the king is quite incredulous.
Absolutely. And we've been given a bit of an insight into their marriage, their 20-year marriage, and there's a piece in the Times about it by Hilary Rose. It has the headline, "Arguments and a Lots of Laughter 20 years after they wed. These are the secrets of their relationship." And it goes into his nickname for her and how she wishes he wouldn't work so hard. What else did we learn about their relationship?
I love the nickname. It's Mehabuba, which is an Urdu word meaning beloved, which I absolutely love, but it's a bit hard to say. It's not like pet, is it? I mean, they used to be called Fred and Gladys, and those were the names from the Goons show. They used to watch that together, and that were their nicknames right from in the early days when they were first together. But what's interesting is that we learned from this piece about how much humour is their love language, really. That's what holds them together. She's very tolerant and unbothered by his sort of... he's prone to being a bit melancholy, a little bit dramatic, as we saw after the coronation with the pen not working.
Yes.
She is very cool, a very cool cucumber. But I sometimes think about them. He is also a workaholic. At a time of her life where she's 77, she wants to be like most retirees and sit back and read those books that she so adores reading. So there clearly is some compromise between the two of them. And interestingly, they both disappear occasionally at weekends to their respective houses in Gloucestershire. So he goes back to Highgrove and she'll go and have time with her family and grandchildren. And I think perhaps that's the secret of a successful marriage.
Probably is.
Having some time on their own. So, yeah, but lovely this weekend, although this week coming. But I think it's quite funny that they're spending their wedding anniversary with 150 dignitaries having, a slow food Italian meal. I'm sure that they'd rather have something romantic to themselves.
You'd think so, but no, we love to see it. Some more news around Prince Harry has come out. Prince Harry has reportedly ended his relationship with his cousin, Princess Eugenie, after she was spotted enjoying a night out with Piers Morgan. So Harry and Eugenie were apparently believed to still be close despite the fallout from Megxit in 2020, but their friendship has been thrown into question after a male columnist claimed that Harry had cut off contact with Eugenie, and Piers Morgan then confirmed this, saying that, well, really it was because of him. And Harry went ballistic because Eugenie was spotted with Piers Morgan and others in a pub in London. I mean, I don't think there's many people that still exist that have any sympathy for Harry anymore, but what are your thoughts on this?
I'm not 100% sure about this. Look, I can see that for Harry, who's a very volatile person, seeing Piers Morgan, who we know has, has no love lost between him and Meghan, and the reason for that is that Piers was quite outspoken about Meghan when she first came on the scene. She wanted to meet with him when she was just an actress. As soon as she got to know Harry, she wasn't interested in Piers. So there's been some biff between the two over the years. But this happened in 2023, that he was seen with them dining at this pub in Notting Hill. For the fact is that since then we've understood that Harry and Meghan have actually bought a property in Portugal very near to where Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank have their own place. Also, Harry was seated next to Jack Brooksbank at the coronation, and they were chatting away. So, look, I don't know what to make of this, whether it's true or not. Look, I'm sure that Harry seeing a photo of his most beloved cousin with Piers Morgan won't have been, I can't imagine. I imagine there's a few expletives in that response. But look, they have to. How do we know that? Eugenie wasn't at the other end of some table or in the restaurant at the time, and they were captured, bumping into each other. Who knows? Yeah. I'm not 100% sure on this one.
Finally, Easter's approaching. What are the plans for William and Kate? Will they be in Sandringham?
I think this is interesting because, of course, Kate last year had just discovered that she had cancer, and we didn't see them at the church service typically that we see them at. Interestingly, there's an Aston Villa match in Paris on Thursday that William very much wants to go to. He's a huge Aston Villa fan. There's a lot of talk growing in the UK that they're going to take their kids to Europe for Easter. Of course, it's the term break for them. I think the kids are getting to that age now. If you think about it, last year was all very much spent in palaces at Sandringham and at their home in Windsor, and that there's every likelihood that now that Kate's clear of cancer, instead of going to a church service in another country home, that they may actually go and do something in Europe together, something quietly. You know, they managed to fly under the radar quite successfully because of the rules around reporting and paparazzi and photographers that obviously covering private events. So hope they do. They deserve a trip to Europe.
They do. Angela Mollard, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thanks.